Hello, I'm Edwina Wilson. I am the CEO and founder of Kelly's Choice, Inc. We are a nonprofit organization and we support the caregivers and the disabled and special needs community. I am so excited to be here today in Virginia Beach at the Sheraton. At the gathering. Man, I'm going to tell you, so far we're here, it's been a wonderful time. All these different martial arts, karate, I can't name them all because I'm not into that. But to be here today, it's been a blessing already. So I have the pleasure and the opportunity to meet
Bam Johnson, Willie Bam Johnson. Hello everyone, how are you?
And he's going to tell you a little bit about himself, what he do, and how this all came in place.
Okay. Yeah, of course I do martial arts. I've been doing martial arts since I was 6. We really focus on right now a program that I was fortunate to be able to structure and put together called Kids Point MMA. Every kid right now, and even adults, love MMA. You like MMA? Do you ever watch MMA?
Yeah.
See? So, but do you practice martial arts?
No.
But you like
but I
MMA?
heard I'm not too young to start.
But you like MMA, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, being in martial arts for such a long time, coming up and growing up in bad communities, I seen training happening with kids in the martial arts, and a lot of it in the early days was a little bit abusive because you was trying to teach them how to be tough and how to be fighters. But I think a lot of the training was a bit abusive. So as a parent, when I realized that I was having younger kids, I said I want my kids to get the benefits of martial arts, the courage, the ability to be able to deal with their emotions. And then when you look around in our society, we have our kids are so intelligent, more intelligent than any other generation, but yet they lack a lot of emotional control. They can't handle defeat. They can't handle. I mean, somebody could yell at you and you didn't, okay, you don't get mad. But our kids today, some of them are committing suicide.
Right, that's
I mean, we never seen anything like this. So when I looked at the people and I wanted to make martial arts more universal, I said, man, kids love MMA, kids love hip hop music.
Yes.
How can we create something that's fun and safe? And it don't have to be about putting on a traditional uniform. Just come and have a good time and learn the basic components of martial arts and challenge them physically without physical contact. But even in the midst of challenging them, showing them how to control those emotions. And once they learn how to control those emotions under self-imposed adversity in a loving and caring environment, then you start to build peaceful warriors.
Yes.
That's what Point MMA is all about. In my family, that's our goal. We believe that in order to make the next generation a better generation, we got to help them be able to deal with this inside.
Right, right. That's where it starts.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
yes, ma'am.
yes. Building that confidence and everything.
Building that confidence,
yes.
right. And it's one thing to say it. It's one thing to, say they're going to be okay. No, as a parent, I have 5 kids.
Okay.
They're my heart and my soul.
Right.
And I want to make sure my young men and my daughter, they can be able to handle whatever life throws at them. I mean, and if they can handle it, sometimes things going to happen where you can't show it on your face.
Right.
You got to suck it up and say, okay, no problem, and let it pass. And you can go in the back of the alley and you can hit the wall or hit the tree, but you cannot let the world know at that particular time that you can't handle it.
Yes,
because the older they get, they're going to
right.
crush you and crush you and crush you.
Right.
And you just got to, and a lot of people, the benefits of martial arts are so powerful, and we know they can change people's lives, but right now there's still a disconnected with to the young kids, martial arts ain't cool. Think about it. I mean, just really think about it. I mean, you kids love basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball is bigger than martial arts.
Yeah.
Football is bigger than martial arts.
Right.
And how can a mom or dad take their kid to a baseball game or a football game, go to a store, buy a basketball, get a kid that basketball, and that kid can go in the backyard every day, and one day they can show them what they do, and they can go off to college and get a scholarship or become a Michael Jordan. How come martial arts can't do that?
Exactly.
But it can't do that because that's what I did.
You created this. I like that. And you've been doing this since 6.
Since I was 6 years old, teaching myself just like they were doing with the basketball,
right.
I was doing with the movies. And God
right.
blessed me to be able to come in contact with people that enhance that. And that's the only way. I mean, you coming up in the city, I know, as you were saying, you deal with a community where you disable kids and trying to help them. When I think about the kids that come up in those environments, there's no longer that. I like to eliminate that term, underprivileged.
Okay.
They're not underprivileged. I mean, because the kids, we run a successful suburban school. The kids in the suburbs got the same problems as the kids in the hood.
Why do you think they might say underprivileged? privilege. Why do you think they use that word?
I guess
that
that's a
term?
stigma that happened back then, where you thought because the kid came from a background or a level of wealth that wasn't really efficient to what most people was doing, she labeled them as being underprivileged. But that's not, I mean, come on, back in it, when I was coming up, that environment was an incredible environment.
Yeah.
It raised great people.
Right.
I mean, maybe they didn't have the level of wealth that other people had,
Right.
but guess what? By getting that love, that care, that support, those kids created another level of wealth that took their parents to another level.
Right.
So,
Right.
I don't know where that term come from, but I try to stay away from
It teach them not to
underprivileged.
say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like saying, oh, I'll never amount to them. No, you can't tell them that, because if you tell them,
Right.
if some kind of way that kid realizes, oh, I guess I'm a part of the underprivileged community, what does that do to their self-esteem? But
Build
the
them
kid-
up.
No,
Build
you
them up,
gotta build
encourage
them
them.
up.
Yes.
Think, why is it that the suburb kids, because ain't nobody buying hip hop but the kids in the suburbs. The hip hop ain't being brought by the kids in the hood because they too busy doing what you buying.
Right.
So in order for that whole culture to exist, it's those kids and those families at the highest level of wealth.
Right.
So if those kids, what always confused me is those kids want to be like these kids and these kids want to be like those kids. What can we do to let them understand that, man, y'all got it. You both want to be like each other. Let's show you how to love yourself and realize that everything that you're striving for is already inside your heart and soul.
So let me ask you this. So you started at 6. How? Why? Was it your mom? Was it you? You saw someone? What actually got you in there at the age of 6? And how did you build up such strong confidence and positivity? And because it had to start, it started there, of course, at 6. But where did I mean, how did you build that up so you were able to be able to go out and teach someone else that?
Well, I think once again, coming up in that environment, a lot of times during that time, even though everything was going on the outside and we was having a good time and the neighborhood raised everyone, still there was a lot of darkness that was happening behind the doors.
Okay.
And during that time, the parents and, you were taught, don't go to counseling, don't tell nobody what happens in the house.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I'm getting you. I'm right there, right?
Okay.
So, we're doing it as a kid. Anything that could happen to a kid happened to me.
Right.
And my only escape was seeing Bruce Lee in a movie. And seeing Bruce Lee in that movie, when I seen that Bruce Lee on that screen, the only thing that can make me believe that I can get away from the abuse and the molestation and everything that was happening to me at a young age was that I didn't see Bruce Lee.
Wow.
I seen me. I seen me on that screen. That was no longer, that man represent, that's why sometimes we teach so much physical, but we don't understand the vibrations and the spirits of, when you see something that inspired you, that man for me was like a Superman. He was fighting for the same things that was going on inside of me.
Yes.
He was trying to do something better.
Yes.
And he gave me hope to believe that I could do something better.
Yes.
So when I walked up that movie theater, regardless of what anybody else said, I began to do something better. I began to practice those movements.
Right.
If I had to go to a store and steal a magazine just so I can put it up on my wall and get hope, I did it. If I go to a library and I had to get a book and I would call Hong Kong and my mom would say I was crazy. But I know at that time they didn't understand that I wanted more for my mom. I wanted more for everybody.
Wow.
And that inspiration allowed me to come from the devastation of so much despair in the city of Baltimore and be able to travel China, to become a 7-time world champion,
Wow,
to be on the front cover of the same magazines I was stealing, to be on a TV show where I played myself. That's God.
Yes.
That's not me.
Right.
And it's my duty if I did that and there was nobody there to support me, I had to believe in myself. I had to make my mom, I had to let my mom see that winning those trophies is for her.
Wow.
And before she died, every time I would come home with a trophy, she never knew I was getting on a bus at 16 years old to go to New York because I wanted this. I would get on a bus for 3 days sometimes just to go to a tournament and not place.
Wow.
But I would go there and I would be around Billy Blanks and great martial artists that would talk to me. And they would see, because the one thing everybody, let's use that term underprivileged. The one thing that everybody don't realize in that underprivileged community, my dad always say thank you, sir. Everything that's lacking in our society right now, they taught it to us in those environments.
Wow.
Everything I teach in martial arts didn't come from martial arts.
Right.
It came from those inner cities that people keep counting out. So that's what I am. I'm a reflection of that rose in that hood that everybody keep on missing when they look in that hood.
So at a young age, you actually built your vision board at a
I
very
did it all.
young age.
It was on the wall. Every picture that I pull out the magazine, you're right. That was the vision.
That was your vision board.
Right,
You built that vision.
yes, ma'am.
Every magazine, every article, even in
Yes,
the movie,
ma'am.
when you instilled yourself
ma'am.
in those people,
Yes,
you didn't
ma'am.
see them, you saw
I
yourself.
saw me.
So mentally, and you.
I would take my dad cassette player. He would, you know, you got them cassette players where you can push the two buttons and you record.
Yeah, I remember that.
I would
I'm
take
from
the
back in
cassette.
that
I would take that cassette player to a movie theater, and I would film the movie. And when I would go home to practice, I would practice to the voices of that movie.
This is so powerful because at a very young age, you literally built where you are today.
Yes, ma'am.
Because it was literally mentally here. And visually, you was watching everything.
Yes, ma'am.
When you go into the stores and you take those magazines,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
knew what your purpose was.
I
You
knew,
knew what your
yep.
intentions were, and you knew what you wanted to do.
And the crazy thing about it, I think at that time, nobody understood the power of self-expression.
Yeah.
They didn't understand the power of creativity.
Right.
With my kids today, I don't teach them martial arts. I put them in the dojo and I let them teach themselves.
Okay.
I let them,
Okay.
everything they do, I let them create and have fun.
Yes.
And then when they get to the age where I said, put this in. It's like I put a little piece in. But I never want them to stop being them.
Wow.
Because people stopped me from being me. And I had to go through hell to become me. And Point MMA is to show every little kid, if anything happened to you and if you can do anything in life, it's about expressing yourself. And we as parents and leaders got to stop judging them. And stop trying to tell them what to do. Damon John said an incredible thing when I was doing some work with his speaking manager and we were sitting in the room. He said, hey, let me tell you something. Next time your kids turn on that cell phone, rather than tell them to turn it off, ask them what they're doing. They can teach you something. We as adults, I just don't want to be that adult that think I know it all and I'm not listening to these babies anymore.
And that's so important. You have to listen to them because we will be surprised at how much they can really teach us.
Yes, ma'am.
Because when my granddaughter, I have a 5-year-old. Well, I have 5 of them anyway. But my youngest, well, my 5-year-old granddaughter, I just had a new grandbaby. She's 6 months now. I was going to say my youngest. But my 5-year-old granddaughter, at a very young age, 3 months, 4 months, she had a computer a cell phone in her hand. She liked to look at Peppa Pig and all them other creative little shows. And today she know how to swipe and look for the things she want to look for. But the funny thing about it is, her mother told her not to not to go on certain stuff. If she knows she on something wrong, she'll say, "Grandma, can I look at this?"
Yeah. Yeah.
And I look first, and I said, "No, you can't." But I like the fact that it was instilled in her the positive things, because subliminal messages behind certain little stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
Even
Yes,
them
ma'am.
TV
Yes,
shows
ma'am. Yes,
that
ma'am.
we think that's supposed to be, it's subliminal messages behind them, and we as parents really got to be careful as well. What we can. Yeah. But listen is key. We have to listen to them. It's so important. It really is so important to listen
And
to them.
you know what's so funny? This program was created because I did listen to my kids.
Wow.
Everything about this program, when I was putting it together, I asked them what they thought.
So this book here is your program that you put
It's
together.
called Kids
Can
Point.
Can you show that?
Kids pointed me. Those are 3 of my kids.
Okay.
And I want to share one thing with you real fast. And this was one day I was at IHOP with my son who's 12 now, Messiah.
Okay.
And we were sitting there talking about
Messiah.
people keep, Messiah, because he was our Messiah. We were going through a moment of darkness, and when he was brought here, he brought us back to light.
Wow. When I say Messiah, I knew it was for a reason. I wasn't Messiah. Okay.
All of my kids, all their names represent something subliminal that remind me whenever I'm about ready to think bad or do something bad, just by saying that name, it brings me back to a conscious and realize that I got to do the best. I got to be the best example that I can be in front of them. And
Awesome.
That's what this is all about. And I'm sorry for crying so much, girl.
No, it's fine. I can tell your emotions. This is your passion. So the tears is really just showing your passion behind it all and where you started, how it all came about. And you're just just love what you do.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's still something behind that that's bringing the tears, some personal too, and that's okay. So that personal stuff, the journey, the 6-year-old, the children, all of that is behind those tears, and it's phenomenal.
And I think before I go here, I think as I'm talking to you, and even when you're relating, I think the greatest thing that I always remember, that when my mom didn't understand why I was stealing magazines and practicing martial arts, I know today wherever she's at, I know that everything that I do on a greater level, it continue to be for her.
Wow.
And that's what I try to teach kids. You only get one mom, you only get one dad. Don't you ever disrespect them, because when they're no longer here again, you'll regret everything that, and you don't want to live with that sort of pain. So learn to appreciate your mom, learn to appreciate your dad. And when I think of my kids today, man, they the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Yes.
And so when I listen to them, and they know that dad is listening to them, my son taught me how to use the cell phone. He said, Dad, you know how to text now? And if I go into a problem and can't figure it out, I say, Messiah, do it for me. I have no shame about doing that. And can you imagine what it does for him?
Right.
So this thing right here, this is what my son came up with. Point MMA. He said P stands for positive attitude. O stands for outstanding character. I stands for individual expression. N stands for never-ending improvement. T stands for technically ready. M stands for motivation from the inside out. M stands for mindset of a warrior. And A stands for attitude of gratitude. That was a 7-year-old son.
So we're going to end this, but are you ready? Are you encouraged? Are you motivated? We had someone started at 6 years old, created his own individual
Expression, that's it.
I met Wendell Wilson, the CEO and founder of Kelly's Choice. You never know where you're going to find me, but I thank you so much for this opportunity. And you said Baltimore, so you're in Baltimore?
No, I'm in Laurel, but Baltimore is where I started.
So you're in Laurel?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're in my hometown?
Oh, you're in Laurel,
I'm from PG County, Maryland.
Stop playing.
PG County, Maryland. Graduated from Largo High School.
Whoa.
So yeah, I am going to make sure I stay in contact with you. When I come home, I'm going to reach out to you.
Yes, ma'am.
I thank Eric for the opportunity to meet all these wonderful people. I would have never known any of this had he not reached out to me. First, had I not interviewed Grandmaster Jack Dark and Eric reaching out to me. So thank you so much. Just leave a word real quick of motivation, and we're going to cut this off.
Hey, gratitude's your attitude. That's it.
Gratitude. That's it. Just that simple. Just like that. Thank y'all. We see y'all again.